I spent some time in New York and had several jobs. I was denied film school, and then I went to Sydney, Australia, where I signed up for a film program and made my first official short film. Length of stay. Without benefiting from film school, we were determined to start our career as independent filmmakers on the way to making our first feature film in the first 5 years. As society struggles with the complex process of recovery from the pandemic and tries to return to normal life, we hope that this film will be something that people will be able to look at in the coming years and tell us how horrible it is to live in 2020. Exhibition 36 tells the story of a struggling photographer who is drawn to the criminal underworld of New York when his friend disappears 3 days before the end of the world. One morning, halfway through closing time, I decided to go to Manhattan and take photos I knew would improve the movie. I went back to New York, was rejected by other film schools, and since then, I have written, produced, directed, and mounted my own projects. In 2014, I wrote a script about the end of the world with the intention of making my first feature film from it. When I saw that the city had become a boring shell, I decided it was time to ask B-roll to edit the film. Unfortunately, we decided to shoot roll 36 in mid-July, the hottest and most unpleasant time of the year in New York City. Now it's hard to think about the whole process and try to understand if it would be useful to finish the shortening before the end of the year and before the pandemic, or if it would be good if we had more time to finish the project. Since midsummer 2020, we've been finishing the editing, adding sound to the movie and creating temporary special effects, even though I was lucky enough to make my first feature film. Our current overall situation is worse than ever. We continued to look for small donations from friends, found a place, hired a young qualified RFP, found a talented woman to work as a costume designer and producer, as well as a hair and makeup artist. And while the film does not explicitly mention that the heroes are in isolation, the film is about isolation and loss, which all Americans face today. Most of all, we hope that the film will find an audience. However, it was interesting to see how the lockdown affected the film's editing.